My name's Janice Kerbel, and I'm Canadian, and I live in London. I'm interested in formal languages that exist outside of the spoken or written word. I've worked with the language of sport, the language of theater or music, and I'm interested in exploring the rudiments of those languages and kind of paring things down to a very basic vocabulary. I really like to try and, while working with these very specific languages, at the same time to free them from their expected use. When I began to think about the kind of vocabulary of swimming pools, I kept coming across all of these different kinds of catalogs that would exist of these forms that were repeated. And I started to think about them as almost a language in and of themselves. I began with thinking of making prints of these different shapes to see if there was something I could understand from it. As we started to work with them, I started to think about just the actual shapes themselves and the paper, which is often a container for something like print, the paper being the shape itself or the pool itself. I think a lot about containers of meaning. Something that drew me to thinking about the swimming pool was the idea that water invariably takes the shape of its container. When we started to fold these, it started to look like various things, on the plans that you get for swimming pools, you get the depth markings that you see and you don't necessarily know how to read that. And I really like that kind of confusion that often happens around the space of the fold. I didn't want the paper to be something that held the image. I wanted the paper to become the image. And again, it was this tension between still wanting this to have the quality of print, or of, that it could exist in multiple, that it's not a sculpture, that it is very much paper, and it also is in a way a pattern or something that can refer to something in the future. And that's something that's really important to me, is always to try and find a way to make things that can suggest another state, but somehow get trapped in this moment.